We have Roshini Rajkumar. She's an executive coach and host. Do you think we can get Taylor Hicks here? And because Amy Klobuchar, is there anything she can do between now and next Tuesday to, vault herself?
One thing, I'll answer your question directly, and then I do want to get back to Clay. But she does well in one-on-one or one-on-two-ish interviews for the media. She actually does way better there than generally on the debate stage. So whatever she does in those interviews, I would suggest bottle that up and take that to the rallies, take that to the debate stage, because she's actually the most natural in those settings.
She's too nice.
I don't know if she's too nice.
In that setting.
What do you mean, on the debate stage?
Yes, with other people. And, she's just, even last night she said, she makes too much sense to me, is what I mean.
Yeah, and isn't that sad that the person who makes the most sense and answers the questions most directly is who doesn't end up winning the debate?
She doesn't have that flair. We have Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders way out here promising everything. They're loud and Amy Klobuchar is the one last night saying, what are we doing? We cannot be ripping each other apart. At the end of the day, she's saying, at the end of the day, we want the Democratic Party to win, and we are ripping each other apart. And it's that makes sense, but people don't want to hear it right now, at least in these settings.
They don't want to hear it right now, and you've got to get to Super Tuesday and see what happens there. So what she's doing, and what I would presume most of them are doing, is stay in the game until March 3rd. Stay in the game. And I don't think it's a runaway Bernie winning all of those primaries on Super Tuesday, but they definitely have to stay in the game and be strong. Now, I did sort of a little poll of I think there were winning zones and losing zones. I don't know that there was an out-and-out winner. Mm-hmm. Once again, I said the same thing with Vegas. If anything, I gave Vegas a little more to Bernie. I have Bernie and Bloomberg in that winning zone because Bernie was attacked from all angles, and the big piece of news of the night is that Bloomberg finally showed up for a debate. He actually was the executive once we got about 20 minutes into the debate that I was expecting to see last week. So it's, that seemed more like a leader.
Yeah. I want to ask you about both those two people specifically. Just one more thought on Amy Klobuchar. Because I've said all along that I think even years from now, they'll look back and say, she was really good and she made a lot of sense. And why did that not quite work out? Because even from the beginning, I'm she's not going to win. She's not going to win the Democratic nomination. She's not making these crazy promises, but she's practical. And I think, she's Minnesotan in that, I'm sorry, that's just not going to work. But great ideas, we can explore it. It's just not going to work. But is there anything that she can do with this much time running out? Because if she's 4th or 5th, 6th place after Super Tuesday, that's it.
Well, I was watching how would I coach these people? That was kind of what I was saying in my head. What was a good answer? How would I have made it better? She sounds sort of professorial when she gets up there. So my advice to Amy Klobuchar and her folks, if they're listening, is pick one or two really hot topics and have some great zingers and one-liners. Don't give us the laundry list of what you're going to do, because you are not ready yet to be in that place where you're asking us to vote for you for president. You are asking the people of 14 different states next Tuesday, South Carolina on Saturday, to vote and get her up there, either a win or a second place. So that's who she has to be focused on. But the way she's going to make any headline is pick one or two things, know them well, have some great stats, and come out fighting.
And depending on the candidate who ends up winning, she could make, said this from the beginning, a very good vice president candidate.
Or leader of one of the cabinet positions if a Dem wins.
Bernie Sanders, okay, you have him in that winner's zone, so he's getting attacked from everyone, and we saw Michael Bloomberg get attacked from everywhere last week. Did not go well, but you thought Bernie did all right.
Yeah, Bernie was pretty unflappable. It gets poured on him. Bloomberg right out of the gate gave him that zinger about Russia and Facebook, and he said, look here. That's the thing. He can look us in the eye. He so rarely is on notes or on some sort of talking point. I feel like he's just him. And right now,
that resonates with people.
Oh, my God.
It just does.
It totally resonates. It's what people want to hear.
Yeah. She's Roshini Rajkumar. Her show here on CCO, Real Life with Roshini, and then the podcast, too.
Or Real Leaders. But
Real Leaders.
Real Leaders is the podcast. Real Talk is the show.
Real Talk on
Sundays.
Yeah, Real Leaders with Roshini is the podcast. Michael Bloomberg, Not bad.
No, not bad. In fact, he kept building steam. For sure, he was in the winning zone. He had some very good answers. I thought it was really smart of him to categorically say, I never said that about asking someone to kill her baby. That was so strong. His visual was strong. If he was lying to us, he looked like he was telling the truth.
Yeah.
So, you have to come out strong when something's hurled at you that you're saying actually did not happen.
So after a disastrous start for him on the debate stage, with all the money he's pouring in, is he a legitimate candidate that could still potentially win the nomination at this point?
Absolutely,
Think so?
because going into Vegas, he was up there in some of the polls, and he hadn't been on one debate yet. So absolutely, you have to not really rule anyone out. And I've said it once to you. I'll say it again. I've maybe said it 3 times. I do think Biden should drop out. I mean, I'm just really concerned. Last night, he got very aggressive with certain answers. He was better than the last couple debates, Corey, but he's searching for words and searching for the right thing to say.
Yeah, the one thing he said last night that kind of struck me as, that's pretty good. He's like, I'm the one that's following the rules here. When you ask me to stop, I'll stop.
Yeah, it was such good schoolboy kind of thing. Well, and again, the moderators take control of the people that are on the stage. I would have loved for you and I to have moderated that debate. We'd been like, okay, look here, Bernie, let's stop. This person's speaking. But anyway, it is good to see that they're fired up. They're taking what they're doing seriously. I recommend to all of them that they don't lie and they stay transparent. Yeah. And I know a lot of people question Senator Elizabeth Warren and her veracity. So she has to be very careful when she's slinging mud that it holds up in court if it would ever go to court.
So the next debate is tonight. Then the next debate after that is Thursday. Then the next debate is Friday. I mean, we got too many of these things.
Too many debates.
I just think and I don't think it's healthy for anybody, including the candidates.
Yeah, they need a break. You need some refresh time. They need that time to go out one-on-one with people, that grassroots stuff. And, it is when you think about it, we do demand a lot from leaders and politicians, and they're asking a lot of us. So they should be tip-top, but they really do need, look, I'm running a half marathon on Sunday. I took Tuesday off. You can't always be running or exercising. Well, you just can't.
That, and for the good of the party, it's easy to poke holes in everybody. Right. Even voters are like, well, I don't really like anybody because everyone's just being taken down.
Yeah, I think voters need to be more discerning. We as voters need to look up the facts ourselves so that we can fact check while the candidates are on stage or while they're being interviewed and really discern ourselves whether they're telling us the truth.
Let's change topics quickly here, Roshini. Disney, big change with Bob Iger, who this is really showmanship. He's going, hey, work here's done. I'm out, going on top, and it was kind of surprising for him to step down.
Surprising, but he's had a really good run, and Disney is, on top of the planet, not just the Mickey Mouse ears. They're on top of the planet right now, and you have to know there was a lot going on behind the scenes. In fact, my hat's off to Disney that nothing leaked prior to last night on this, and right away they didn't have a 6-month period of goodbye Bob. It's right away the new guy gets in. They're already talking about the new guy, and we're moving on. There is a skill and a talent and an art to proper leadership succession planning. And I don't know all the little details, but I would at least at first glance give Disney 10 on this.
And he had been the CEO for 15 years. That's a long time.
It's a long time. It is really too long. So I think it's smart to go out after all these acquisitions and, some of the new narrative is still being written, but you can let this new team now take off from here.
Best wishes on the half marathon.
Thank you.
Good luck. Thank you for your time, Roshini.
Thanks, Corey.
It's good to see you. She's Roshini Rajkumar. Real Talk with Roshini, and then the podcast Real Leaders with Roshini right here on News Talk 830 WCCO.